You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. Go. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Go. Don't waste no time.
With the Atlanta Falcons, resend them Devontae Parker and a 2022 first, which is obviously the San Francisco first. They send us Julio Jones and a 4th round pick.
I'm absolutely saying no to that. Yeah, I'm not taking that. We could get into some Julio situations. Let's get this show started though, bro. Friend of the podcast, 40 Acres and a Hellcat, Myles Gaskin, had a quote this week. He said, talking about Studsville and Gotze, the offense, quote, it's definitely different. It's a whole new playbook. It's not the same as last year. What you make of that?
I think that's a good thing. I wasn't the biggest fan of the offense that we ran with Tua under center. It clearly worked with Fitz. For whatever reason, it just didn't work with Tua. So I'm glad it looks different. But again, right now, everything looks different. Everything looks amazing. Everything is going to score 30, 40 points a game, you know. Let's see come September when there's actual NFL defenses on, you know, up against Tua, up against Waddle, up against, you know, whoever we put on the field. So it was a nice quote. You know, it's that, what we're in May, it's that May feel-good feeling, but that feeling goes away very quickly when, you know, we're playing the Patriots. It's halftime and we put up 7 points. So
that's funny. Hey, it's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. It's always for the fans and by the fans. I'm your boy, Charlie Touche. I got my co-host with me, Kadeem Simmons. And today we got a guest, man. But before I introduce this guest, man, look, he had one of the most authentic takes I've seen on the internet recently when it comes to the Dolphins schedule. I asked if he could come on, man. I like, yo, you sound like a genuine fan. I need you on this podcast, right? But not only is he a fan, he has his own podcast, co-host of the Same Old Dolphins show on DolphinsTalk.com, Josh Casper. How you doing, Josh?
I'm doing great, man. I'm glad to be here. I just appreciate that Kadeem stayed up to all hours of the night to talk with me a little bit on the show. That's what I appreciate. Hey,
listen, Kadeem hit it on the head. He said, it's like a primetime game from Kadeem up 2:00 in the morning to do this podcast. Primetime show. No, what he said, primetime game for a primetime podcast. I like it, Kadeem. That's what's up. Hey, listen, you guys can find Josh on Twitter at Amplified to Rock. That's right, Josh?
That's right. That's it. At Amplified to Rock. And the podcast is at Same Old Dolphins. So give us a follow. And just, I know before everybody, they hear that name and they go, oh, this got to be the most negative podcast in the world. And it's a little bit tongue in cheek, right? We call it Same Old Dolphins because for a long time, they always were the same old Dolphins for 2 decades. But now they're turning a corner. So maybe they're not the same old Dolphins anymore. I don't know. We got to find out.
Turning the corner. Hey, before we start, bro, I wanted to thank you, man. You hit us on our timeline on Twitter. You know, we was trying to reach out for some graphics and unsolicited, like just out of unsolicited tweet, you added somebody and told them to help us out. We actually got help with the graphic somewhere else. And shout out to 5 Yard League. We'll get into that when Lee comes back on the show. But you didn't have to do that, Josh. So we appreciate you, man. I wanted to thank you on air, not off the air, but like you really didn't have to do that. So I thank you for that, man. Let's get down to it though, fellas. Real quick, let's get some housekeeping out the way. Dolphins signed Trill Williams, UDFA, 6'2" corner / safety. He was a UDFA for the Saints, and they waived him because of a failed physical, has ankle issues. And if you ask me, I think he showed some promise. If his ankle isn't too banged up, but for real, I mean, if nothing, he'll be Clayton Feslum's replacement. If we part ways with Clayton Feslum right now, we save about 2.7 against the cap. And that's not even really what I wanted the housekeeping that I wanted to do. But we also signed free agent from the Washington, formerly of the Washington football team, tackle Tim and Paris. And he's just going to be a big body for camp. But let me tell you this. This is where I really wanted to get to. Morgan Moses was cut. Fellas, I'm going to pass it off to you first, Josh, because you're a guest here on this show, man. How do you feel like we need to entertain Morgan Moses? Or do you feel like, you know what, we might be good right now?
Well, if they cut him, and I hadn't heard that, I knew that he was looking to be traded and they were trying to shop him.
He was being shopped. And, it gets to the point where they're about to release him. So they just put it out that they're about to release him. And, so I'm pretty sure they put that out there so they could shop more offers. But it sounds like he's about to be released.
Yeah, that's the kind of player that I would be interested to see if you could get him on a short-term deal without putting out a whole lot of resources for him, because it's more competition on the offensive line. But if he's gonna ask for, I think what's he making right now with Washington was making something like $7.25 million a year. And if he's going to come on board and is going to want something like that and a big, cap hit, that's not going to be worth the extra investment for me. Given as much as we've invested already on this offensive line, it does not make any sense to me to pour more resources into it at this point. So this is a guy, I don't expect him to be a free agent for very long. When he does get released, I imagine that I think Pittsburgh and the Jets were sniffing around and they were going to probably snap him up pretty quickly. And honestly, if those teams want to pay him more money, then more power to you. At this point, I'm at the place where when it comes to the offensive line, I think we've spent a lot of money. So let's sit back and let's see what these guys that we have right now can do in camp, because I think we're already going to have some real good competition.
What do you think, Kadeem?
Iron sharpens iron, but similar to what we just heard, there comes a point where the investment doesn't make too much sense. So if we can get him in on a cheap deal, and worst case scenario, he elevates the guys we already have. Liam Eichenberg goes harder in training camp. Austin Jackson goes harder in training camp. The guys we already have, they look at that signing and go, I need to step up my game to make sure that I'm starting games. So if he came in and kind of provided that, brilliant, amazing. If he came in and started, even better. Because, what I love about this team that Miami are building, it doesn't matter if you're a first-round pick or a seventh-round pick. As long as you can play and you put the hard work in, you will be rewarded. So bringing him in, and if he starts, that means he has beat out the other guys in that position, which means Tua gets more protection, which means that the team gets better. So it's an investment I would like to make, but at the right price. But I think that's the same with so many other players. It's always at the right price.
Man, this is Mount Moses we talking about. Now, I want to be clear. Like, really. Hey, and whenever Proverbs 27:17 can make a cameo, Kadeem, I'm all for it. Iron sharpens iron. You already know that, man. Listen, Mount Moses, you have to kick the tires on this. You have to at least say, all right, what do you want? And I'm gonna tell you, like I told you guys before, I told you, Kadeem, we might not be able to offer the stars, the moon, and the sun and all that, but we could offer the beaches and the palm trees. Listen, like if we're talking about a 1-year contract and let's see what you got type of thing, it would be perfect to have him in the midst of things, because I'm pretty sure Jesse Davis, we're gonna part ways with Jesse Davis this year because of his salary number. I think that's the direction we're going. We're gonna keep Fluker. We added Eichenberg, but timing is everything, and this is why you go into the draft like, all right, look, we have to fix certain things. So like, there's no what if. You know what I'm saying? You go into the draft, free agency, and the draft and say, look, we're happy with this. Now, whatever happens after the fact, it's like, oh, well, if we would have waited, this would have been nice if we went Creed Humphrey and then landed with Mount Moses. That would have been ideal. So it didn't happen like that. So what you do here is like, look, I don't like the fact that Pittsburgh, I don't think their line is fixed. So I don't like the fact that they get their pick in Najee Harris and can end up with Mount Moses. I don't appreciate that. So I do say, you know what? Let me pick up the phone. What do you want? How much do you want? This is obviously if it gets cut. So how much? But we're not going to trade for him. But how much do you want? Let's see if we can make this year work for 1 year. Now your O-line is it's deep already. It is extremely deep already. But yeah, what you got, Josh?
No, I agree with you. Let's make the phone. You make the phone call. You kick the tires. You sniff around. You say, what's the deal? What's it going to take? Because like you said, we can offer the beaches. We can also offer no state income tax. So, that's a big deal in Florida. So, that deal that $8 or $9 million deal or whatever in Pittsburgh and New York, when the Dolphins make that same offer, you're bringing more of it home. But like I said, I don't see the Dolphins being willing to spend that much money. And maybe I'm wrong because they've shown that, they want to continue to invest, although they waited, on the offensive line a little bit. So, I don't know. I think it's definitely worth kicking the tires, and if you can get him on a good deal and you can find a number that I think we're all on the same page as far as that, if they can find the number that is the right number, great. I mean, and he's getting that guaranteed money anyway. So maybe he's going to be willing to take a little bit less on a deal with the Dolphins, but
So,
we'll
I mean, and this is reports are saying he's about to be released. So usually when you get that report, that means no one's calling. No one's calling right. And no one's trying to get him traded. They don't want that contract. But look, Josh, let's get into this, man. I heard this take, man, and as a Dolphin fan and just being born and raised down here in Miami, Florida, bro, when I heard this take, I'm like, yo, that is a Dolphin fan right there. And Kadeem, I met Kadeem in London. If you don't know, I met him in London. And Kadeem is I don't want to call him a new. He discredits himself. He calls himself a new fan. He's not a new fan, bro. Like, you don't have to be a lifelong Dolphin fan to be a legit Dolphin fan. All right. So Kadeem, well, how long you been a fan? About 5 to 7 years, something like that.
About that, yeah.
All right. So I met Kadeem, and I can hear the pain in his voice. I'm like, yo, you're a Dolphin fan. You know what I'm saying? That's a Dolphin fan. I heard it. You feel me? And Josh, when I heard your take on the Dolphins schedule, I'm paraphrasing here. You said, when I usually look at the schedule, I look at and I see guaranteed losses. I see, okay, that might be a loss. This might be a loss. You count the losses on the schedule. And then this year you said, I don't see guaranteed losses on this schedule. I see a lot of winnable games, and we could win. All of these games are winnable. Now, you didn't say we're gonna go undefeated, but you also said there's no guaranteed losses on the schedule. And I'm gonna tell you that resonated with me because I agree. But I need you to talk on that take, bro. Where'd that come from?
Man, it was just that gut feeling. It was, for so many years. That schedule comes out, and the first thing is you're going down the schedule, and then you look at it right when it comes out, and you're like, okay, this is a tough schedule. And then you get it, and it's a little bit closer to the start of the season, and it's like, okay, well, let's take stock of who we are. Now let's look at the schedule. Oh, it's like, okay, 2 games against New England, probably losing both of those, probably splitting against Buffalo, and probably splitting against the Jets too, honestly. And then you look at it, and you would see these teams that you considered to be in that sort of upper echelon of teams in the league, right? The way that I look at the NFL, and we talk about this on the Same Old Dolphins show a lot, is that you've got a handful of teams in the league that are in your top tier, sort of contender tier of teams, right? There's usually in the league, probably I don't know, 6 or 7 teams that are in that tier. And then you've got 4 or 5 teams that are in the very bottom tier that are just garbage teams and are not going to win very many football games. And then the rest of the league sort of lives in this middle area where you've got a team where if things break the wrong way, could end up, drafting in the top 10. And if things go really well, could end up winning their division and getting buys into the playoffs, right? But but most of these are the teams that are finishing between 9-7, 8-8, 7-9, right? That's that kind of middle tier of teams. And the Dolphins have been like so firmly in that tier that you would always look at the schedule and you would go, okay, yep, this is loss. And then they're always good for a game that you absolutely think that they should win, that they end up losing. That was the Denver game this past year, right? And then there's always a game that you think we should probably going to lose this game, and then they end up winning it. That was the Rams game this year. And so it's like, normally when I'm looking at the schedule, I'm like, okay, what are those games? But this year, when I looked at that schedule, knowing what I know about the Dolphins as far as like how we've approached things in free agency and how we've approached things in the draft, and just the way that Coach Flores has imposed his culture on the team and created this a culture, like you got 70 guys at OTAs, 70 guys, and that's not just rookies. Right? You got grizzled veterans showing up in May in South Florida to do optional team activities. That's a culture, right? That's that dude who you saw at the Panthers game waving the towel, getting the whole arena fired up. This guy is creating something here, and you've seen it. We've seen it on the field. The Dolphins the last 2 years have exceeded expectations. So this year, when I sat down and I look at that schedule and I'm going down and I'm like, there's not a single game on this schedule that I look at and go, there's no way we're going to win. Yeah, there's games that are going to be tougher. Tampa Bay is going to be tough. It's going to be tough to go to Buffalo. It's always tough to get up. We're playing Baltimore in a short week. It's going to be a tough game. But are those games that the Dolphins are completely incapable of winning? No, not this year. Maybe before I would have thought that way. But the way this team is going right now, absolutely not. I'm like so excited.
I agree 1,000,000%, bro. Like in 2019, when everybody hit us, when we won 5 games and everybody said we was quote unquote tanking, I didn't buy in on we were tanking. Like, no, that's not how this is a rebuild. It's not a tank. Like you gotta get the cap right. You feel me? So and we exceeded expectations. And you didn't know what was gonna happen. You didn't know we were going to win 5 games. You didn't know we was going to go winless. You might have thought Fitz had a chance to go 8-8. It's Fitzpatrick. Who knows? Shout out to Josh Rosen, my dog. I like Josh Rosen, but we'll keep going. And look, no bashful plugs here, bro. You can plug the same old Dolphins show. You can plug that. It's cool. I'll plug it for you too. So look, back to what I was saying about the schedule. So when 2020 came, I'm like, man, this is only a year removed from a 5-win season. So you have to temper your expectations. When I looked at the schedule this year, bro, and I believe into it. I believe in what the Dolphins are doing. I believe in Flores. I believe in this defense, though I am not as big of a fan of X as Kadeem is. Like Xavier Howard and Jones on opposite sides of each other. You add Javon Holland and you got Brandon Jones coming in now, bro. Bet the under on every Dolphin game. I'm in. I'm all in. So when I seen the schedule, Baltimore doesn't scare me no more. Yes, I hate Baltimore. I hate when we play them. They give it to us all the time. But I'm not with the team that we have now. I am not afraid of Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has nothing for us. I'm not going to say we're going to win. I'm not saying that like Kadeem just went off and jumped off the ledge and we lost against Drew Lock. But I'm not saying we're going to win. I'm just saying I'm not afraid of Lamar Jackson no more. I'm not afraid of New Orleans. Like, you're not going to tell me Taysom Hill's going to shred us. You're not going to tell me Jameis Winston is going to throw under 3 picks against this defense. They do not scare me. So, yes, hats off to Buffalo, you know what I'm saying? And hats off to New England, Bill Belichick. You respect goes to them. It's like the AFC East was the hardest division forever and ever. Amen. Like we had a big brother in New England that man, just get out the way. And then it's like we had a twin brother in Buffalo. You know what I'm saying? Like they not our big brother, but they're like twins, and they just was in the gym longer than us, and now they beating us too. I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? So, but they do not scare me no more. So, yes, every game on this schedule is winnable. I agree 100%. Not saying we're going 17-0, but I do feel you when I like, every single game on the schedule is winnable. There's not we're for sure losing this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And listen, Buffalo is a year or two ahead of us when it comes to that rebuilding process. And we saw the leap that Josh Allen took, right? After his rookie year. That rookie year was not great. Right? Year 2, not great. But then you look at where he's at, and now suddenly we've got this is a solid quarterback, right? He's, you know, as much as you hate to say it, the guy can play football, right? If Tua makes that same kind of progress and our offensive line makes that same kind of progress. Don't forget, we were starting 3 rookies on that offensive line, right? And everybody likes to talk about the leap that Tua is supposed to make from year 1 to year 2. What about the leap that those 3 offensive linemen are supposed to take between year 1 and year 2? If those guys make that progress and this offensive line comes together, and now we got Jalen Waddle and Will Fuller blowing the roof off of defenses, and now we're going to give the ball to Myles Gaskin, who's going to have all this room to run because teams aren't going to be stacking the box against us. Because if they do that, they're risking just losing it. Like, we're going to blow the roof off. Like you said bet the under on the Dolphins. There's reason for optimism to think that this offense could tell you to bet the over.
I feel like I have to once again defend the defeat against the Broncos.
Nah, bro.
No,
own it. Don't defend it. Own it, bro.
No, I'm not owning it simply because I don't like Drew Lock. It's a shame that Drew Lock beat us, but I am not going to sit here and have you just completely like we have a guest. We're arguing in front of our guest because once again I'm the Drew Lock fan. No, I'm not. I'm not a Drew Lock fan. I'm just like, we should have beat the Broncos. And if Drew Lock is so good, why are they trying to get Aaron Rodgers or someone else? Drew Lock ain't that guy. Okay.
Hold on, bro. Hold on. See. So we airing out dirty laundry now. So now we gotta clear some stuff up. Excuse me, Josh. You know what I'm saying?
This is good. This is what I'm here for. I'm here for the drama.
Listen, let me paint the picture. Last season, and I'm gonna be clear, I like Drew Lock. Am I a fan? I guess I'm a fan of Drew Lock. Do I think he's a top 10 quarterback? Absolutely not. Do you? No, I don't. He's playing right now. No, I don't. Listen, it's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. This is not Go Time Broncos. But I will say this. So I was like, you know what? On the episode we played Denver, I said, oh, we're going to win this game. And I said, you know what? Let me stop. We should win this game. Kadeem just jumped without a parachute and said, hey, we're going to smack them. And then we didn't smack them. I like, bro, you gotta respect Drew Lock. And he didn't, and we lost, and we didn't make the playoffs. So Dolphin fans, Go Time Dolphin fans, listeners, it's because of Kadeem Simmons that we did not go to the playoffs because we came 1 game short because he bet against Drew Lock.
You see how it is? All of a sudden, I'm playing quarterback. I'm playing DB. I'm protecting Tua. I didn't play in that game. I was at home in London. I was supporting the team, and we should have beat the Broncos. However, it's a Dolphins thing. You know, like you guys have both said, there's games in the schedule where we look at it and go, this is a win. This is, if there's ever a guaranteed win, this is it. And Miami will come out on that Sunday and go, nah, not today. Today's not the day. And then you look back and go, yeah, it's not coming, to be fair. But at the same time, I'm a very negative person. I can't be negative at the Dolphins schedule. I'm looking at it going, win, close game, but probably going to win, close game, probably going to lose. And that is an amazing feeling. That's when you know the team are going forward. And that's where, if anything, this off-season, you know, all these teams, you know, the Vegas odds saying we're going to lose X amount of games, and, you know, the Colin Cowards of the world and everyone else, you know, oh, Tua's not the one, then Miami aren't going to do this. That is bulletin board material. That's the kind of thing which, you know, I think any coach can use that to hype up a team. But there's something about what Miami are building where Flows are going to go, they really don't trust us. They haven't trusted us the last 2 years. Let's go out there and let's prove them wrong. You're seeing these clips Miami Dolphins Twitter are putting out. And I think they're very smart because I don't think you've seen Tua throw the ball once in these clips. Not at all. He's handing the ball off a lot. He's smiling. He's got a beard. Like, he's got like a Kadeem beard going. I'm kind of liking
bearded
that.
Tua. Hey, we need a hashtag bearded Tua.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? It's like you're seeing all the players, but the one thing they're not showing you is Tua, you know, slinging that rock. You're seeing Tua in training videos, you know, away from the facility throwing the ball. But I kind of feel like Miami aren't trying to give anyone any ammo to say, oh, that ball sailed through the air or anything like that. So and there's also, it's a tease. Miami Twitter account are teasing fans because we want to see Tua. We want to see Tua, you know, connect with Fuller, with Waddle, You see Albert Wilson smiling. Wilson looks happy to be back in this building. And like he said, it's May. This is the time where, if anything, veterans are like, I'm not coming right now because I don't need to. You know, my place is guaranteed. But, 70 guys in OTAs, people want to be in the building. One, because nothing is guaranteed. Two, that culture is getting better and everyone wants to be, on board when the train gets going. The train has left the station. Are you going to be the guy at home not taking part and then come July, August, you're playing for someone else going, do you know what? I probably should have gone back in May. It's a great feeling to be a Dolphins fan right now. And I'm excited. I'm very, very excited.
Speaking about trains, let's get this train back on the track, right? I'm going to put a ball on the schedule talk. In about, I want to say 2017. I think it was like 2017. The Chargers lost, or the Chargers won. I want to say it was an astronomical number. It was like 9 games by less than 7 points. And then the next season, they lost like 8 games by less than 6. It's those games that matter. Like, yeah, their record may have been lopsided one year and then flipped around the next, but they found a way to win those games. So those games that all three of us are talking about, like, yo, these are winnable games. You have to be able to gut it out. You have to be able to win those games. And it sounds like the theme of this offseason is depth, because if people are going to get hurt. Now, how many teams have the depth to just, next man up, next man up, next man up responsibly? Because I just see the Dolphins building the right way. And honestly, I think the litmus test is week 2. We get Buffalo. We get to see what time it is all over again. How many times do you get the right or wrong back-to-back weeks? Your first week, you lost to New England. Your second week, you lost to Buffalo. And now you get to do it all over again and play them both. So to your question, Kadeem, you opened the question. You opened the show today and you asked me about Julio. And you said Parker and a first. And the reason why I don't like the first is because it's San Fran's first. There's a chance San Fran's first is the top 10 pick. Not saying that it will be, but you have no idea how a rookie's going to act when he gets thrown in the fire. So I like holding on to San Fran's pick. I cannot do that. And then, Julio's in his 30s and he's $18 million against the cap. But I am intrigued. I will say that. Now, if we could do Parker and like a second, Parker and 2/3 or something, I'll entertain that. Let's go to the guests. Let's see what the guests got to say. What's up, Josh? You entertaining the trade for Julio?
But certainly not for the terms that were introduced, not Devontae and a first for Julio Jones, because you're not getting peak Julio Jones. You're getting Julio Jones on the downhill slope. Now, granted, this is still Julio Jones, one of the best receivers in the league. So for sure, there's a trade to be made there. I'm not even sure that I ship Devontae, honestly. Maybe. I don't know. The idea of Julio Jones. He's at this point in his career, he's an elite receiver, but he's on the downslope where you've got Devontae Parker, who's a similar receiver in the way they play the game to Julio, and he's on an upward slope, an upward trajectory, finally showing that he can stay healthy, finally showing that he can be a true number one receiver. Now that's going to be challenged. He's going to be facing that challenge even more with Will Fuller and Jalen Waddle added into the mix, and assuming Preston Williams can stay healthy also. I don't know. I'm feeling really good about the Dolphins wide receiver room. So if we're going to, I don't know. I could see shipping off Devontae, but with the money that you're going to have to pay to Julio Jones, I don't know that particular trade makes a lot of sense.
Hear me out. I don't have the actual numbers in front of me, but I think Devontae's on the book for about 8 this year, and Julio's on the book for like 18. I understand 1,000,000%. Now, my thing about Devontae Parker is he's had one breakout season that was awesome, and that was it. And then everybody's going to say, oh, he was hurt. He can't stay on the field. Then nowadays, when he gets on the field, he has drop issues. I'm not thrilled about Devontae Parker right now. I love the cap number we have him at like $8 million per, and I think the last 2 years are like $6 million per. You gotta love that. you get what you pay for, yeah. But at the same time, my thing about Parker is when it's time to I don't feel like Parker has the dog in him anymore. I don't even know if he ever had the dog in him. Now, Julio, on the other hand, if you add Julio, yes, I understand there's a cap number. But you got Waddle, he can win by himself. You got Fuller, he can win by himself. I do not believe Parker can win by himself anymore. I believe Julio can. So you get what you pay for. So that's not where I'm gonna go here with this argument, because it's out there. But I will say this. Let me ask you something, Josh. This is because me and Kadeem, we go back and forth. I don't know if you ever played like Optimus Sports growing up, and you practice against your teammates, and day in, day out, you have practice 5 times a week. You get tired of practicing against your teammates. So we got some fresh blood in the house. Me and you, Josh. You feel me? So here's my thing about Parker, right? My thing about Parker is if Parker gets paid $8 million a year, Preston Williams is still undrafted free agent who came in the UDFA, probably makes $800,000, right?
Yep.
We'll just call it $1 million. The difference between Parker and Preston is not that big on the field. Like I can see a world where you part ways with Parker this year and say, you know what, we're trading him for a 4, or we're cutting him because we want that cap space, and Preston takes his spot. And no one can really say, oh, that's a huge difference. Like, yo, Williams is almost Parker.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I would, there was a time at the end of last season where I thought, it's a real possibility that none of the guys that were playing wide receiver for the Dolphins last year showed up on the roster the next year. Like it was a real possibility to me. I could easily have seen them walking away from Devontae Parker. Honestly, Preston Williams was one of those guys that was part of the reason why I thought it was likely that Devontae would go away, because you could trade Devontae Parker and you can get some good assets for him, I think. And you've got, that wide receiver room is really, you got a lot of guys in there right now. So we're going to be parting ways with some of those. And it's like Jakeem Grant, I'd be stunned if he made it around to training camp, honestly. I mean, this time 2 weeks from now, it'll be like, Jakeem, thank you for all you have done. Thank you for your service. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
I'm going to throw it back to Kadeem because it was his question. I'm asking you, what would you do, Kadeem? What is your trade compensation that you say, you know what, let's do Julio? What is the offer that you say, you know what, this is my price. I'll take it for this.
I like the terms so far, but I'm not giving them a first. I don't think Miami are that desperate for wide receiver to be given up next year's first. I think especially, and not to get too, deep into draft talk, but as long-time listeners of the Go Time Dolphins know, if that 49ers pick is in the top 10, say top 5, and Derek Stingley Jr. is there, that's the pick 100%. So I am not parting away with that first round pick when I already know where it's going. If they want to swap, third or fourth or something like that, yeah, I'm all good. I'm fine with that. I know there will be people that will say, well, it's Julio Jones, you have to give them the first. And I understand that, but I don't think Miami are a Julio Jones away from winning the AFC East, from winning the Super Bowl. So I'll probably look stupid not saying yes to the trade that I put out there, I guess. But, listen, I saw it on Twitter, people talking about it, I thought I'd bring it here. The one interesting thing about Jakeem Grant, and I'll probably end on this, I think he makes the team at the start of the season. I think purely because of his return skills, I think they might not chuck Jalen Waddle on return duty straight away. So I think Jakeem Grant might keep, that for a few weeks. And then once Waddle kind of, is settled, once Fuller returns as well, because don't forget Fuller misses week 1. So I think having Jakeem Grant at least around for week 1, just in case, or just in case, because Fuller's not around, and we don't know what we're going to get in Preston Williams. Not quite sure what we're going to get from Albert Wilson. Guys who haven't been around for the past, 12 months. I think Grant being around last season gives him a few weeks, and then once Fuller's up to speed, once Wilson's up to speed, not to give away our big secret, but once Kirk Merritt is up to speed, because I still think it's a big preseason for my boy Kirk Merritt, then,
Bro, hey, I'm done. We're done. We're not doing this. I'm not doing this, bro. I'm not doing this with you, bro. Like, I'm done with you. Look. Hey, hold on. Hey, I'm moving on right here. But look, Julio Jones isn't a spring chicken. You know what I'm saying? So Julio can't stay healthy either. You know what I'm saying? So I will say that. He can't stay healthy. So if you give up a first for somebody who can't stay healthy, that's on the other side of 30, I don't like it. But let's talk about returning punts and Jakeem Grant and keeping them. Kadeem got all the jokes, but and keeping them on deck. Here's my thing. This week, I'm not even gonna lie. This is it's not breaking news, but it's an update. Charlie Touche has turned the corner and believes Jalen Waddle should play on special teams. I wasn't sold. I was like, ugh. Like, I would hate for him to get hurt on special teams. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just. He means so much to the offense. That's why we have two burners now. I didn't want to use him on special teams. But I got to be honest, I like the idea of playing on a short field every single time you get the ball. It's a short field because you either kicked it away from Jalen Waddle or his average returns are 25 yards. So if you have a defense that isn't letting nobody score, if you have an offense that is high-powered, something's going to break. Something's got to give. Now you have Jalen Waddle returning punts. Something has to give. Before I pass it to you, Josh, for Kadeem, Mel Kiper Jr. just came out with his big board 2022 draft, 2022 draft big board, and Derek Stingley Jr. was number 2 overall. We love Derek Stingley Jr. here. I don't think we're going to be able to get him. But Josh, my question to you is, should Waddle be on special teams?
Yeah, I don't see any reason why you don't want to try it. I don't think that special teams ability alone is a good enough reason to keep Jakeem Grant around, because as much as he was capable of breaking the big play every now and then, he was also capable of making just some really head-scratching decisions back there when it comes to the return game. So and quite frankly, it's not like he's not like Devin Hester back there. You know, he's not like just this incredible, like anytime he touches the ball, it's a touchdown. You know, he has that ability and he's shown that he can do that, but it's not like he's consistently giving you amazing returns. He is a guy that was giving you sort of average returns and then occasionally could break one. So I'm sort of take it or leave it as far as that goes. I understand the idea of wanting to protect Waddle, but I also want to see what he's capable of doing back there and to see if he can be a difference maker, because that's just another way that he can contribute. But don't forget, you also have Igbenogany, and obviously Igbenogany didn't show a lot in the return game last season, but I think he's another guy that can be considered and put into that mix quite a bit. But yeah, I don't have any problem with giving Waddle a shot. Now, if he proves to, particularly early on in his career, but if it proves like that Waddle is a key to the passing game and becomes like a key instrumental piece of the offense, then at that point you reevaluate and you go, okay, well, I don't want him returning kicks right now. But, at least at first, as he's sort of being introduced into the mix, I've got no problem with letting him field kicks here and there.
So it's funny you say that, because that's kind of why I'm like, I'm not opposed to a Julio right now, because if we do that, Jalen Waddle could play. He got Waddle, Fuller, Julio. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's Waddle, you go have fun in the sand. So listen, I'm upset. Well, I'm not going to upset anybody's hornet's nest, but I got to put you on the spot, Josh.
Uh-oh.
You're not a fan of international games for the Dolphins. Now, before you answer, hold up. Before you answer, I need you to understand our contingency is huge in the UK. So I wanted to put you on the spot and see how you felt about the international games and why you really don't like you really wouldn't want us to go overseas to play. Because, hey, we got a residential Londoner on the podcast. Tread lightly.
Well, I will say this. I am not against it when it comes to expanding the brand, especially because I know that the Dolphins are one of the NFL teams with the biggest sort of support overseas. So I completely understand that. And I understand it from a marketing perspective as far as the league is concerned. And even really as far as the Dolphins are concerned, why you would want to do that. My dislike of international games, at least in as much as it pertains to, I don't even really, it's not even the overseas thing. For me, it's about giving up home games. And when the Dolphins have done that in the past, they're giving up home games, right? Especially when the Dolphins have, particularly in October, such a great home field advantage. That's the thing that I dislike. I do not like giving up that home game. In a situation like this season, where the Dolphins are going overseas to take on a team like Jacksonville, and it's a road game and it's not the Dolphins are still getting there, but they're getting 9 home games this year, right? The extra game is at home, right? Yep. So we're still getting 9 home games at Hard Rock Stadium. I'm not as anti overseas game as some other people, because I personally think the idea of the jet lag and the length of the trip is an overrated thing that people complain about. There is not that much difference from flying from Fort Lauderdale, where the Dolphins fly out of, to London. It is it's a 5-hour flight. It is not that much different from flying to LA, or even worse, Seattle. My wife is from Pacific Northwest. And when I was living in South Florida, or when we would visit my parents, we'd visit my parents in South Florida, and they'd take a 7-hour flight to Seattle, right? I wouldn't want to do that. And nobody says anything about that, right? So going over to London and playing a game, especially when you're going east, there's not really a jet lag situation when that's that bad when you're going east. It's coming back, which normally you get the bye. So I'm a little worried about that this year, that the Dolphins aren't getting the bye there. But last time they did that, and I mentioned this on Twitter, the last time the Dolphins went overseas, and they played their game, they lost that game to the Saints. They came back, they didn't have a bye the next week, and they beat the Tennessee Titans.
I will say this. One point is, there's a chance that that's a home game for us too. There may be more Dolphin fans in that stadium than Jags fans.
There will be.
Secondly, as my co-host so eloquently put this, it's okay that we don't have a bye because the Atlanta defense is buns, as he put it eloquently. You know what I'm saying? He put it eloquently. So yeah, man, I do feel you on that. You said October. You know what I'm saying? October, our home field advantage in October is unique. I argue every home game in Miami is unique because it's not just the humidity, all right? So if you have a team that plays in the north, like the Colts are going to come down here early. Buffalo's going to come down here. If you have a team that plays up north and you get hit with this Florida humidity in October, there's no words for it. I'll be real with you. There's no words for it. But it's the same difference when you come down in November or December, because it's freezing up there and you still come down to the humidity. So every single home game for the Dolphins is crucial. So I really do feel you on that, man. You got something, Kadeem?
Yeah, the only thing I wanted to add was that when the Dolphins come to London, it's a home game. They're just, for all of the teams that are supported in the UK, and it's very, very diverse, there are so many long-standing Miami fans simply because of Dan Marino. The limited games that the UK got, they got the big games, and Dan Marino was in a lot of those big games. So you find a lot of the older fans, when you ask them why they support the Dolphins, it's because of Dan the man. So, and plus, it's the Jags. The Jags are here every single year. No one wants them. There's all that rumor, or all that talk of the Jags becoming, the official team of London and moving the Jags over to London. And everyone said, no, keep them over there. Like, we don't want the Jags. So there'll be a lot of aqua, a lot of orange, a lot of, I'm fingers crossed, I'll be going in my work capacity. I'll be in the press box. I'll be screaming for the Dolphins. You can't stop me. What are you going to do? So listen, we'll be sorted.
I'm not gonna lie, the Jags are coming, bro. They'll be moving there. They'll be playing in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. They're gonna be the London Jaguars. I don't even know if the Jaguars make sense as a mascot, but they'll be over there shortly.
Wouldn't they? Sorry to interrupt. Wouldn't they play at Craven Cottage? Doesn't they keep it in the family?
Craven Cottage is way too small for an NFL team. It's one of the oldest ones. It is tiny.
Well, there's only how many Jaguars fans are there over there? They can squeeze all, half a dozen of them into Craven Cottage,
You
surely.
can probably take the Jaguar fans from Jacksonville and move them over to Craven Cottage and it'll still not be packed. So it is what it is.
Hey, Josh, I got the most wins for us at 14 this year, and the least amount I got is 10. You had us at 12-5. That basically, if you average out my average, it puts us at 12-5.
Mm-hmm.
My question to you is, how many touchdowns do you think Tua will throw this year? If you don't have to put too much thought in it, but just throw out a number.
I'm just curious what the over under is set at for.
I think it's 25. Is it not?
For him.
I thought it was 25.
Hold on, wait. Charlie,
let's get that number.
Your number.
No. I'll tell you, but I have no problem telling my number. I want the guess number. You know what I'm saying? Like, but all right, how about this? How about this? Let's say the over under is 25.
I think it's over.
All right, that's fair. So
I think it's over. I think there's if he has a great season, I think Tua could hit 30. If it's like a really good season and he takes that big step forward, I think he could throw 30 touchdowns. I think the running game is going to be better because you're going to stretch the field. The Dolphins offense is going to be a little bit more up tempo this year. It's not going to be so predictable. Teams aren't going to have so much time to react, to plan for us. And, it's just, I would be surprised if we don't see more production out of this running game, even if we don't add another veteran back like a Todd Gurley or something like that. Even if we just go with the running back group I think that group is going to be better. So I expect the Dolphins to have a good season. My gut is that they're going to end up around 12 wins. It wouldn't surprise me if they won more than that. Honestly, this team is at a point where I feel like we're very close to this team not having a ceiling. I think they probably do have one, but exactly if it's 14 wins, 15 wins, I don't know. I don't think that this is a team that's prepared to go into Kansas City and win the AFC Championship game just yet, honestly. But we're close. We're getting close. So I feel like 14 wins sounds crazy. 14-3, which is weird to say, but if they end up 14-3, would I be like really surprised and shocked? No, not at all.
So because Kadeem thinks I was backpedaling, and that's what Kadeem does very well on the show is backpedal. We should just give that man a jersey and throw him in a DB room. You know what I'm saying? So I don't backpedal, Holmes. He caught me at a time where I was high on the juice. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, I'm drinking the aqua and orange right now. And I said Tua was going to have 35 touchdowns. I said 35. I'm not backing up, though. So Tua's going to be in the 30s. I know it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, he might not have to throw for all these touchdowns, but he's capable. And because I don't backpedal like Kadeem Simmons, I'm going to keep my number at 30 or 35. But, yeah, man, I like it.
You backpedaled there. See, you said 30, you meant 35. Already the brain is doing it. The brain has started.
I came back to 35. Hey, Josh, man, listen. Like, we genuinely appreciate you here on Go Time Dolphins, bro. Let everybody know where to find you and how to find you.
Absolutely. But you can follow me on Twitter at Amplified to Rock. All one word. You can follow the podcast at Same Old Dolphins. We're the Same Old Dolphins Show. And all of our content that we record and put up on DolphinsTalk.com, which we're love to be part of the Dolphins Talk podcast network. Every episode of our show is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, anywhere you get your podcast, but it's also available on the Dolphins Talk YouTube channel. So go to youtube.com. Do a search for Dolphins Talk, all one word. That's Dolphins with an S, Talk. And you'll find the Dolphins Talk YouTube channel. Smash that subscribe button, and we appreciate you. We just hit 1,000 subscribers and counting. So come join the team. Join the team, baby.
Hey, I like it. Hey, that's what's up, man. Awesome. Look, y'all know what time it is. Stay positive. Test negative. For Josh Kasker, Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time.
Pro Football Focus has Tua ranked 29th in quarterbacks. Like I'm gonna just name a couple quarterbacks that's ranked ahead of him. 24 Winston and Hill. 25 Justin Fields. 26 Jared Goff. 27 Cam Newton. 28 Sam Darnold. 29 Tua Tagovailoa. For the listeners listening, we do video right now because we're getting ready to go on YouTube, and Go Time Dolphins is about to be on YouTube. Like, you should have just seen everyone's faces when I said Tua was listed at 29th in quarterbacks, like overall. How do you do that? Josh,
They're
you
just
first.
trolling. That's trolling. That's like they're doing that on purpose because they know the Dolphin fans will get mad. It's like Colin Cowherd's just working a heel gimmick right now on Dolphin fans. And that's why he keeps coming out with these videos. That's why he made that other video after the fact, trashy Tua, because he knows that these people are going to turn around and give him clicks, right? That's what this is. That's got to be a trolling. 29th behind Jared Goff. I mean,
Daniel Jones, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Man,
a lot of people ahead of this man.
Listen, on its face, real, like, taking my Dolphins colored glasses off, like, I can understand that because, look, maybe, God, I just didn't think his season was that bad last year. I thought he was just fine. And now he was coming off an injury and now he's getting a full off season, whatever. Rank him 29th. I don't care. Watch what happens on the field. Thank you.
You feel me? We really need to be saying thank you for all this ammunition.
I'm serious. Kadeem said it. It's locker room material, right? You put that on the bulletin board.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yo, all right, look. We got to keep this. And if I'm Kadeem Simmons, peek around the curtain. I guess that's a London term. Peek around the curtain. For all our Go Time Dolphins listeners, me and Kadeem, we usually record, during the day. There's a 5-hour difference in London. He's ahead. So, we don't want to record too late. And today, we recorded this episode, as a primetime game. It's a primetime game for Kadeem Simmons. Shout out to Kadeem Simmons for staying up so late, to record this episode. So I am watching the Panthers game right now. Playoff hockey is underrated, by the way. And since we're in bonus time right now, the Panthers were up 2-0 against the Lightning. And the Lightning came back and went up 5, scored 5 on us. And the Panthers just tied it up and made it 5-5. And it is just wild. I'm glad it's bonus time. And Kadeem, don't edit this out, man. So people need to know how fanatic we really are over here. But that's
I actually
crazy.
have it on. I have it on the stream. I'm about a minute behind you. They just scored.
Oh, my bad, bro. I didn't know.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Yo, I didn't know I ruined it for you. Bro, listen, this is the perfect bonus time, take. I learned how to skate, literally learned how to skate in 1995, 96, when the Panthers were on fire, bro. But when Van Beesbrook and Rob Niedermeyer and Joe Vanowski, Radek Dvorak, that team, that year of the rat, that's when I learned how to skate, bro, because of hockey and the year of the rat and the Florida Panthers. So hockey, playoff hockey is so underrated. When I tell you I'm Miami through and through, man, Miami Dolphins, Miami Marlins, Miami Hurricanes. Look, and that's a perfect segue to you, Josh. I know you're from South Florida. Pembroke Pines, you said, right?
That's right, Pembroke Pines.
What is your Miami sports Mount Rushmore? Give me 4 Miami sports figures that you feel like, you know what? these four have to be on Miami Mount Rushmore?
Oh, it's tricky. That's tricky. Because Marino got to be there. Dwayne Wade has to be there. Those two 100% have to be there. But it's tricky because when it comes to the Marlins, like the Marlins had those World Series teams that they then sold everybody off.
Well, let me cut you off. Let me cut you off. Let me cut you off. It could be any four now. It could be four from the same sport if you want. It doesn't have to be four different sports, but it's just four Miami sports figures. Like, we're not gonna kill you because we ain't give you no time to set up the answer, but we would like a raw take. Who you got? Give us four.
All right, I'll do a controversial take then, just because
we won't kill you for it.
I'm gonna say Dan Marino, Dwayne Wade, got to put Don Shula, and then I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm debating whether I want to say it, but I'm gonna put Jimmy Johnson on there. I'm gonna put Jimmy Johnson on the Mount Rushmore for those titles with the Canes.
Yo,
that's my childhood, watching those Hurricanes win those national championships.
Listen, that's not a bad take at all. Like, even if it was horrendous, I wouldn't kill you for it. It's unfair to kill somebody for their Mount Rushmore when they're under pressure. So, here's my.
I might have said Joe. I might have said Jeff Conine too. Just I'll throw him out there.
Sherrod Steve said Jeff Conine. He threw it. It's honorable mention. It's an honorable mention. So my Mount Rushmore is Marino, Shula, Pat Riley.
That's fair.
Alonzo Mourning. It's mine. You know what I'm saying? It's mine.
Okay. I mean, I can't hate on that. That's
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Zoe is a legend. Zoe is a legend.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like he paved the way for Wade. How we forget? You know what I'm saying? So don't get it wrong. I would never like say, oh, Wade don't need to be on this. So I understand how Wade make it. But hey, yeah, man, I done messed up the go time bonus time with the Panthers game. But yo, that was crazy. I could not believe it. I couldn't believe it, bro. So look, man, you said I told you I live in Davie now, and you was asking about a Shoney's. What tell the listeners what Shoney's is.
Is that still there? So back in the day when I was going to BCC Central Campus, right there in Davie, right by Nova Southeastern, right by where the Dolphins training facility is for a little bit longer. And when we used to, as a drama student, so we are in rehearsals late night, and you'd get out of rehearsal, you go to Waffle House. But then there was a Shoney's. I don't know if the Shoney's is still there, but Shoney's was like a place where you could go and get breakfast at any time, kind of like a Denny's, kind of similar to a Denny's kind of thing. And man, they had these pancakes. I would get the pancakes and sausage links, man, at Shoney's, and whatever time of day. It could be 8 in the morning. It could be 3 in the afternoon. It could be 2 a.m. after a long night of hanging out.
Listen,
the family show.
Listen. I like the way you had to pause with the hanging out. But listen, for anybody who ever had doubts about Go Time Dolphins being a legitimate, like, South Florida podcast, like, Shoney's is no longer there. I got to tell you, Josh, Shoney's no longer there. I hate that.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Pour one out for Shoney's.
But listen, I still go to Waffle House over here, bro. Like, I still go to Waffle House. I live across the street from Nova, right across down the street from the Dolphins practice facility. Man, look, man, we done had Josh bring up BCC, Nova, Shoney, and Waffle House on our podcast, bro. I done brought up the playoff Panthers game, which y'all weren't supposed to know about, that's going into overtime. And I hope I didn't spoil that because it was over a minute. So you should have knew that. But yeah, man. So by the time everyone hears this, y'all going to see how excited I was about this Florida Panther game. And hey, look, man, we usually don't end go time bonus time like this. But again, Josh, thank you for being so patient with us. You know what I'm saying? We had some technical difficulties. You're welcome to come back to the show any time, bro. Chop it up with us. Kadeem, you a soldier for staying up till 3 o'clock in the morning London time to do this podcast, man. Shout out to all the Go Time Dolphins listeners. We appreciate y'all rocking with us. And just a heads up, we got another giveaway coming up, man. Y'all be easy.